Hi, my name is Saurabh Singla. I'm a senior data scientist and I'm in data science domain from approximately 15 years, where I have worked in different industries from finance to insurance to healthcare to marketing firms. And I have applied various skills such as machine learning, deep learning, statistical modeling, and today I will share you my experience and from my experience and what skill sets are required to get into data science. So today our topic is to step-by-step action plan uh, for learning data science. And today we are going to discuss what skill sets are required. So at the end of the session, you can ask me questions you have, and before I start, I want to get into what is data science. So today's agenda is what is data science, why data science is so important in the 2020, what is the complete life cycle of data science, and what are the application in different domains from fraud and transactions identification. It is applied in marketing domain, it is even applied in healthcare domain. So application of data science, it is numerous. So we will be talking about few use cases where it is applied, and what is going to be your learning path, what kind of skill set you require to get a job of into data science. So data science again is a vast field, which is a combination of data engineer, data scientist. So we will be talking, so this is our agenda for today, and the salary trends, what salary trends are going in data science domain, because in data science, you see data scientist job, data engineering role, data architect role. So what is the difference between and what kind of salaries each are getting? So we will be talking on that as well. So firstly, we will talk on data science. What is data science? Can anybody answer me and put in the chat box what is data science? Yeah, I got few questions. I got few answers. So data science, according to me, is a branch of study in which we obtain meaningful insight from raw and unstructured data. And the vast amount of data which we are getting these days through big data is processed through programming. Second is analytical skills, and third is business skills. So data science is a very broad term. We can also say data science is a multidisciplinary field that use scientific methods or processes or algorithms to produce knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data. It utilizes techniques and theories derived from many fields, such as you can talk about as computer science, mathematics, statistics, or even information science. So data science, again, I will reiterate the definition of data science. So data science is a combination of number of aspects of data, such as could be technology, could be algorithms, even could be data interference to study the data, further analyze it, and find innovative solutions to difficult problems. It is about analyzing data and deriving for future growth by finding creative ways. So data science is to reveal the hidden pattern in the data sets, big data sets, small data sets, and these insights are useful for companies to enhance their decision making process, streamlining sales, or even could be marketing strategies. One very good example is Netflix, which use user data to understand the customer viewing pattern, which increases their interest for a particular genre, and this helps them to understand which movies to produce. So data science involves development of data products. It means technical asset that use data to generate a algorithm based results. So to me, data science is all about descriptive analytics. So descriptive analytics is what has happened in the past. Next is diagnostic analytics, which is why did it happen in the past. Predictive analytics, which is what will happen in the future. And prescriptive analytics, how can we make it happen. So these are the ones I believe which are required as a data science. And the next is another way to reiterate my statement is data science is a mix of language, of programming, machine learning algorithms, statistics, business intelligence, and even computing. So this blend helps us to discover pattern in process data or raw data, which in turn offers insight to the companies and big production processes and their big production processes. So each of these combined together, I believe, become data science. Why data science is so important in year 2020? Can anybody answer this and put their answer in the chat box? I will give a little bit clue why data science so important. It helps businesses make better decisions. It helps predict the future growth. It also helps in generating revenue for the businesses, and it is also applied in so many domains. Could be in elections for survey, new product launches, or could be used for share trading. So if you could give me some answer why data science is so important, it will be helpful. Why data science recently in last 5 years has got a gain? So reason is advancement in technology, which help data science evolve from cleaning data sets and applying statistical methods to a field that encompasses data analysts, says predictive analytics, data mining, business intelligence, machine learning, and even deep learning, and the list goes on. So one might think that data science is just a trend or the hype which will go one day. Of course, nothing can be, can stay on high for a long time. The reality is data science just gaining is this momentum in the business or in the government sector because of the kind of data which is getting generated. And what makes data science that magic ingredient for success? What is that ingredient which make that? So basically it helps us make data driven decisions. And retail, you talk about any industry, you talk about retail, e-commerce, logistics, transportation, healthcare, finance, insurance, real estate, all of them have a very strong data science teams, and they are leveraging data within their organization to gain some competitive advantage. If you are looking for a rewarding career with the strong impact which you can make in the company where you're going to join, you should definitely explore the data science career. Data science not just helps industry for making better marketing or customer acquisition decisions. It also helps in the business industries in solving various complex problems and assist in making them quick decisions. One of the major purpose of data science is to derive hidden pattern and trend from the data, or business can even use data science for innovation or enriching customers' lives. Recently, you could say last year, data science has been defined as one of the sexiest jobs of the 21st century by Harvard Business Review. And secondly, Glassdoor, a world-known website for job seeking, ranked data science as the best job in America for 2019. Even Bloomberg regards data scientists as the new superheroes. So data scientists or machine learning engineers or data engineers, all these titles have two things in common. First is they are the most attractive profession at the moment, and they all are dealing with the data, lot of data. And first, the amazing increase in this amount of data that is getting generated on daily basis. Because one example is sensors are used to generate data. Can you tell me another example where we are getting a lot of data from? Even our smartphones are generating a lot of data these days. So the continuous growth of the internet is also contributing to having a lot of data. As you could see with the example, there is lot of data being generated. All this data is going to be useless if it is not analyzed or taken advantage, or it could give some kind of a value to the business. So it data science gives insights from the raw data. It helps us making better decision making, better process optimization, more deep insightful discoveries, and lot of examples. Secondly, why it is gaining so much? The increase in the available computing capabilities these days has made it possible to build systems that can efficiently crunch all the data to obtain results in a reasonable amount of time. So cloud is one of that. So in cloud, there are a lot of companies. One, you could talk about AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, Cloudera, Microsoft, and many more, where you can build models and deploy your models. So I will go now little bit more deep into which industries their data science is used at the moment, and I will add on more. So it is used in finance industry. So in data science is used in finance industry for automating various financial tasks. Could be in order to carry some kind of a strategic decisions, and it also enable financial institution in creating personalized experience for their customers. Next example could be manufacturing. Data science has been broadly used in the field of manufacturing. For what purposes? To reduce cost, to optimize production, or even to enhance profits. So now industry can easily optimize their production hours and even monitor their energy costs using data science. Next, where it is applied, healthcare. So data science also plays a significant role in healthcare sector these days. By using it, various tools and techniques, doctors are able to detect cancer or other serious diseases at an early stage and figuring out treatment of patient, how it can be made a lot easier using data science. And it is even used in e-commerce in our daily life. So data science has transformed the e-commerce industry in variety of ways. It helps us in identifying our potential customers, optimizing price, and predicting trends. So data science, that's the reason why it is so important. Data science has proved successful in creating vast impact on various industries. It has transformed the working of numerous sectors and still on its way to explore the remaining untapped areas. So data, what additional benefits you can get from data science? So data can help you communicate with your customers in a way that is effective and convenient. Very good example is maintaining detailed account and purchase history can help you better serve your customers. So can you think about any other example on this? Okay, so you can redevelop products or introduce new products by collecting and using data. So if you collect data in a way that tells you how your products are used and accepted by the market, so you can take this information and implement the learnings in future product designs. And the third example could be operational efficiency, which can be transformed using big data. So data science can help to improve manufacturing, even distribution, even inventory management, staffing, and numerous other areas. And the data generated per day are way too huge to handle. And more than I believe 70% of top companies are moving into this field, which create a huge competition between the companies. So to handle these type of data companies, you can apply there even as a data engineer or as a data scientist or a data architect or business analyst, and the list keeps going on. This, if you see this graph, it tells you it is growing on year. So as per this graph, 11.5 million jobs will be by 2026, which will be more than 28% increase in demand in 2020. So it is a very safe job because supply is not that much, but the demand is high at the moment. So it's a good job to get into. And second thing is a data science job opening stays open 5 more days than the other jobs. So it is, it shows you as an indicator it is not getting filled easily. So you need to build your skills, you need to create your profile, you need to have some projects which you can show to your company, and from there you can work. So this is a very good graph to show how is the growth of data science in coming years. Big names who are hiring as a for data scientists are, these are the big names: Microsoft, IBM, Accenture, Oracle, Cloudera, Facebook, Netflix, which are using it for recommending movies to their customers. Even Google, whose revenue more than 40% is coming through recommendation. Even Amazon, who does recommendations of its products, so its major sales are coming through recommendation, which is controlled by machine learning or deep learning models. So pretty much all companies, big companies, small companies, startups, who want to have much more competitive advantage to their competitors, they are making data driven decisions and they are using data science. As I said earlier, data science is a vast field. It includes pretty much all the jobs which you see here: data analyst, data scientist, data engineers, data developer, or even data architects. And if you see here, you can see what kind of opening salaries they are getting. And data engineer is more with the infrastructure, data scientists are more with the building of models and passing the correct information as a story to the stakeholders and data analysts. So we will be discussing on this in detail in the coming slides. Can anybody tell me what is the data science life cycle? So the first process is when we are talking to our stakeholders or when we are talking to our clients, we first try to understand the problem. We try to understand the business requirement. So before any project is of data science, it is critical that you understand the problem you are trying to solve. And in this stage, you should be able to identify the objective of the project by identifying the variable that need to be predicted and what kind of KPIs are needed to be addressed. So this is a very critical point mm, in gathering what is the limitation of the project, what is required in the project from the stakeholder or the client perspective. The next is data understanding and exploration. So in this process, first you define the project and after that now you start gathering the data. So in this process, data mining is used. So data mining is the process of gathering your data from internal client sources, or if required, then you might use multiple sources which could be external. At this stage, some of the questions worth considering are: what data do I need for the project? Where does it live? How can I obtain it? And what is the effective way to store and access all of it? So coming on to this, the first is the data acquisition in the second process. Next come is data processing. So if all the data necessary for the project is packaged and handed, then you have won the lottery. And usually finding the right data takes time and a lot of efforts. So after gathering the data, we move on to the most time consuming step, which is cleaning and preparing data. The reason why it is time consuming is because there are so many possible scenarios that you can use for cleaning. For example, data could have multiple inconsistency or redundancy or missing values. So your data set could have unnecessary data which should be removed. And these inconsistencies need to be identified and fixed at this particular stage. And in this particular stage only, when we clean the data and when you are ready for analysis, the data exploration stage comes, which is brainstorming of your data analysis. This is where you understand the pattern in the data and you retrieve some useful insights from the data set. And with all this useful information, you start to form hypotheses about the data and the problems you are tackling. One good example could be, if you are predicting student scores, you could try visualizing the relationship between scores and sleep. And the next third step is model building. So in model building, we create features, data features from the data you process to carry out model training. And model training is basically about finding the model that answers the question most accurately of the things, the questions which we were having in the first process. So in this process, we split the input data into training set or test sets, build the model by using training sets, evaluate the training set and test set using number of machine learning algorithms as required as per the problem. Could be random forest, could be linear regression, could be neural network. So it depends on the problem and how we can work on that. And after that, we determine the best solution to answer the question by comparing the success matrices between alternative methods. And if the model is suitable, we put it into next stage, which is on the production or the deployment one. And the goal of this stage is to deploy the model into production or production like environment which the user can accept, and the user must validate the performance of this model. If there are any issues with the model, then they must be fixed in this stage. So as I told you, requirement analysis is nothing but trying to understand the objective of the project. Then in this step, we do data exploration. So there are different ways to do data exploration. People use univariate techniques, multivariate techniques, where they check the distribution of the data, the data which is occurring regularly, the data which is rare, what are the outliers, what is the correlation between variables. So in data exploration, you can work on these things by visualizing data or by summarizing data. So it can be used through bar graph. It can be used to stack bar graphs. It can even use using histograms, box plots for outliers, line graph to see the trends. So in this, we build the models. So if it is a classification problem, we can use logistic regression. If it is a econometric problem, we can use a linear regression. If we have data which is having a lot of missing values, we can work on random forest. We can work with gradient boosting model. So it is on deciding which model is best suited as per the data. So if our data sets is very small, it is good to use parametric modeling. But if your data is having a lot of variance, then it is used to use assemble technique. So it depends on what is the use case. Accordingly, you decide which is the best model required in the situation. If it is about identifying which people are going to make the payment pay back, so fraudulent people or non-fraudulent people, so that is pure classification problem. So there you can apply techniques like GBM, light GBM, you can apply SVM, you can even apply Naive. So it depends upon the problem, and according to the problem, you decide which are the machine learning models which can solve the problem. And further, you predict the outcome and you check the accuracy. So there are a lot of matrices through which you can check the accuracy, through confusion matrix for the classification problem, through AUROC. In this stage, the model is machine learning or deep learning or statistical model is deployed, and it is evaluated whether it is addressing those KPIs. The errors can be checked using different scores. Could be linear regression, could be checked on R square, adjusted R square, RMSE. And if it is a classification problem, it can be checked through confusion metrics. It can be also evaluated through AUROC. So there are different evaluation matrices through which you can evaluate your models. And after deployment, you need to regularly monitor your model. So means you need to check if your input data which is coming, if it is changing regularly, that means you have to update your models. So models doesn't live for forever. So as per the requirement, you need to regularly do A/B testing. You need to check under certain threshold. If the performance go beyond that threshold, that needs to be updated. So in the monitoring phase, you have to do that, and you further deploy them. So this is the very crucial part of monitoring. If any changes are required in the model, if data has changed, a situation of company has changed, then you have to spend time again on feature engineering to figure out which are the important variables. So feature engineering could be in talking about categorical variable into 0 and 1. Could be label encoding, could be target mean encoding, which is designed for when the data set is imbalanced and you want to train data on minority and majority classes both. So this is a very crucial part in terms of training, means deploying model, checking their performance, and regularly updating them. What are the application of data science? What can you, as I told you, it is applied in pretty much all the domains these days, and it is getting attraction. So if you could give me example, if you could write on the chat box. So today we are going to discuss on fraud and risk detection, where data science is applied. Second, it is applied in healthcare domain. Third, it is applied in targeted advertising. And fourth could be virtual reality. So how banks or financial institutions are using data science? So as we have more than 100 plus machine learning models that use historical transactions and payment activity to predict whether or not future payment is likely to result in loss. So we use machine learning techniques, could be boosting trees or could be random forest, to classify merchant as fraud or occasionally other regression techniques to estimate the potential loss. So these models target different types of fraud. Example could be product specific frauds or buyer versus seller frauds. So we can spot these, there are different techniques we can spot using spotting outliers. So anything that fails to fall within the acceptable data range call for a closer look, and data science determine what that range is, how much movement from the range is still acceptable. So predictive models also build in future possibilities, so that if there is an external event that will bring changes to the mean data, it will be reflected in the model. So very utility, there is one very good example of utility. Safe to assume that if a person lives in a house, she will consume electricity regularly, and the meter shows a value that's slightly above or below the annual average consumption. What if next month the consumption value drops by 90%? It's time to investigate. So in some industries, data science is used to detect kickbacks in government contracts, potential of nepotism, or even vendor frauds. So banks use data science to detect probability of loan defaults and also credit card frauds, and how it is studying patterns and forecasting which will change based on internal and external factors. So a part of data science is also being used to detect frauds and other unethical behavior in the finance sector. Could be money laundering, because as per the data it is like 8 trillion value of transaction happens in money laundering every year, and most of the banks, they have a team which looks after how to stop money laundering, and this their 90% of their transaction which they are investigating are false positives. So machine learning is coming into their rescue. Yeah. Data science is even used in healthcare. It is used in drug development, cancer image analysis. And the growing application of data science across different sectors is a pointer to the fact that the world is finally realizing the power of big data. And healthcare is one of the sectors that is being transformed gradually by data science. As several areas in healthcare which prior to the application of data science techniques were not able to function at optimal status. So now the situation is changing, and more changes would come eventually, changing the current healthcare scenario completely. The positive changes that we can expect are following. So effective management of patient data, accuracy in medical imaging, error-free diagnose, personalized care for patients, and even risk analysis and preventive cares. So with further research in data science, it would even possible to detect which particular medication would be suitable for a specific individual. However, some progress has been made, and it's a long journey. So there is dearth of qualified professionals in the field of data science, and data science training is therefore for paramount importance now to train up the next generation of data scientists. So I will reiterate the advantages, because since I have done few projects in healthcare domain, so I will reiterate it. Improved diagnostic accuracy. Various data analytics companies are providing solutions to providers by using different machine learning algorithms and data science technology for improving diagnostic accuracy. Analyze medical images efficiently. So different area benefiting the data science is data imaging. It is very difficult to store the data manually. Without the help of digital storage system, it is helpful for physician in detecting diverse conditions, improve diagnostic accuracy, and support in discovering better options for treatment. Next is, for discovering the new pharmaceutical drugs, there are various processes and several testings which need time and money both. And by using data science or big data analytics, researcher can make process of drug discovery in shorter time and with much more easier ways. It also helps further in reducing risk in prescription medicine. So when a drug is prescribed to the patient, deep learning or algorithm verify it with the available database and alert the physician if it deviates from the standard treatment procedures. And this benefit the healthcare provider by enhancing better health outcomes and avoiding lethal complications associated with faulty prescriptions. how data science is used in internet search by Google or even for target advertising. So I have said this statement earlier. Amazon sells more than 40% of its product through recommendation systems. And Google Ad uses browsing history for showing ads, which is its main source of the revenue. So data is the fuel today. And more the data you have, more money you can make or your company can make. So here's a bit of human science and psychology. Human animals loves to be treated with personalization. So everyone wants to be felt special and important. So business knows that they use it for its advantage. This is done with the help of recommendation systems and personalized content, which is used by companies like Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, YouTube, and the list is endless. Recommendation systems and personalized systems are possible with the help of artificial intelligence, but the algorithms cannot run on any raw data. So all models have limitations on what type of data they can handle. This is where the data scientist comes into the picture. Data scientists spend 70 to 80% of their time in cleaning the data. Then comes the part where hidden patterns are retrieved by the data scientists. So data science also have some other advantages, but is mostly used in business. They are concerned about profits. And recommendation is a very good example of it. Data science is used in virtual reality. So a very good example is if you are using Google Glass, uh, then it will track your eye movement. And this is massive for data science. Right now we use impressions or views as a marketing or business measure. Now we can figure out what customers are actually looking at and for how long and in what details. So this is 10 times better than the matrices we have today. Next example could be machine learning has the capability to enhance every experience. By understanding the user, it can adapt the simulation towards their preference. A lot of simulation will be social in nature, but many will be user creating a world based on their needs and wants. So machine learning make this possible without a developer coding every custom attribute of that experience. So it is can be applied in virtual reality. What is the learning path to get into data science? Can anybody answer this thing? What are the ingredients required to be into data science? So coming into data science, first skill you need to build is on mathematics and statistics, then programming, then data analysis, then data visualization, then machine learning, and finally deep learning. So we will be discussing one by one what is required. So first step is you need to understand linear algebra, non-linear systems, dynamic systems, analytical geometry, optimization, calculus, statistics and probability. So statistics is a very important component because it can act as a binocular for you to gauge uncertainty in the data. It's good to know one language, whether it is Python or R, but good to know one language. It will help you a lot. So I will tell you the difference. So R is used for statistical analysis, whereas Python provides a more general approach to data science. So Python can pretty much do the same task as R, which could be data wrangling. Data wrangling is merging data, grouping data. Then is feature engineering, feature selection, which are the important features you want for your model. Web scraping means you want to scrap data from different sources. So Python is a tool to deploy and implement machine learning model at large scale. And Python codes are easier to maintain and more robust than R. Python didn't have data analysis and machine learning libraries early, but recently Python is catching up and provides cutting edge APIs for machine learning or artificial intelligence. Most of the data science jobs can be done with 5 Python libraries: NumPy, Pandas, Scipy, Skitlearn, and Seaborn. Python makes replicability and accessibility easier as compared to R. In fact, if you need to use the result of your analysis in an application or a website, Python is the best choice. For data analysis, these are the very good two libraries of Python: Pandas and NumPy. So NumPy is a Python package which stands for numerical Python. It is a core library for scientific computing which contains a powerful n-dimensional arrays and provide tools for integrating with C and C++. It is also useful in linear algebra, random numbers capabilities. NumPy array can be used in an efficient multi-dimensional container for generic data. Now let's tell you what exactly is Python NumPy array. NumPy array is a powerful n-dimensional array which is in the form of rows and columns, which can initiate NumPy array from nested Python lists or access its elements. On the other hand, Pandas is used for data manipulation, analysis, and cleaning. Python Panda is well suited for different kind of data: tabular data, ordered or unordered time series data, arbitrary matrix data, unlabeled data, observational or statistical data sets. So using Pandas, you can perform lot of operation with series, data frames, missing data, and group by. On the other hand, NumPy is essential for all work you do with data. An array appears to work much faster as compared to pandas data frames. Package like TensorFlow can only be fed arrays, not pandas objects. Pandas functionality quicker than NumPy to use, and in some areas other additional functionality such as reading and writing from external data sources. Pandas provide us very powerful objects which is most of the time used like data frames and series, which are useful for working and analyzing data, whereas NumPy array, which provides objects for multi-dimensional array, NumPy consume less memory as compared to pandas, and NumPy performs really good when there are 50,000 or less rows, whereas pandas works really well when there are around 500,000 or above rows. So that is the difference between NumPy and Panda. And so in the data visualization stage, you try to see the pattern what is between x and y variable. It can be done through scatter plot. You want to see the distribution of the data using histogram. You want to see the outliers. So there are different graphs, and Matplot and Seaborn are the good libraries which can help you work on data exploration using data visualization. And I will tell you the difference between Matplotlib and Seaborn. So Seaborn is a popular wrapper of Matplotlib library. This means that the Seaborn is built on top of Matplot, and Seaborn generally allows for easier plotting than using Matplot on its own. The reason why people recommend learning both is that sometimes you want to use Matplot to adjust the output of a Seaborn plot. So Matplot has multiple figures, can be opened, but need to be closed explicitly. And in the case of Seaborn, Seaborn automates the creation of multiple figures. This sometimes leads to out of memory issues. On the other hand, Matplot is mainly deployed for basic plotting. Visualization using Matplot generally consists of bar charts, pie charts, line chart, scatter plot, and the list goes on. And on the case of Seaborn, provide variety of visualization pattern. It uses fewer syntax and has easily interpretation for default themes. It specializes in statistic visualization and is used if one has to summarize data in visualization and also show the distribution in the data. Next is Matplot. So Matplot is a graphical package which is well integrated with NumPy and Pandas. And Seaborn is more integrated for working with Pandas data frames. Matplot works with data frames and arrays. It has different stateful APIs for plotting. The figure and aces are represented by the object, and Seaborn works with the dataset as a whole and is much more intuitive than Matplot. And the final is Matplot is highly customizable and powerful, whereas Seaborn avoids a ton of boilerplates by providing default themes which are commonly used. So next step is pre-processing. So you do data cleaning before data exploration or after exploration. You, as I said, you spend time on feature engineering, where you develop new features. Could be one hot encoding, uh, could be target mean encoding, or sometimes you have variable with multiple levels of value, could be zip code. And if you use these kind of variables directly into random forest, it is going to give more weight, which is going to have biasness. So you need to have a vector, or there are different techniques to work with such kind of situation using feature engineering. Removing outliers. So there are different ways to remove outliers. Could be using autoencoders, could be using one class SVM, could be using KNN. So there are different, and sometimes you want to keep those outliers and sometimes you don't. So you have to figure out which are the ones useful, or which are the ones which are not required as an outlier in your data set. Sometimes when you delete these outlier, you are missing an important information. So if your data set is small, you don't want outlier, because that will have lot of variance impact on your data set. But at the same time, as your data set is small, you don't want to miss the precious information. When your data set is big, then you can remove outliers, then there is no issue. But again, you have to make a decision. So handling null and missing value. Am I having 70% null value of particular variable? If that's so, should I delete it? How should I impute values in the missing values, missing variables? Should I use different imputation techniques to fill values? Should I use mean? Should I use median? So this you have to figure out, and this you will be. There are different libraries in Python which you can use in data pre-processing. So with skitlearn, you can pretty much build lot of models. Examples could be KNN, support vector machine, decision tree classifier, random forest, naive-bayes, linear discriminative analysis, logistic regression. So there are abundant of machine learning models available in skitlearn. So skitlearn already implements a lot of non-neural net-based algorithms, or you could call them, these are some kind of a traditional algorithm that are still used and used to be used in data science. And it offers a lot of tools for data manipulations and utilities, and also for artificial data set generations and so on. Further, Sklearn creates a convenient abstraction which could encourage more junior data scientists to go without understanding of the fundamentals. So if you are not from the mathematics background, if you know a little bit of mathematics, you you don't want to worry about the backend, how the models are made, then skitlearn will help you build those models in a simplified way without worrying about how they are working fundamentally in the backend. Next is deep learning. So before jumping to deep learning, it's always, if with my experience, if you could solve problems using simple machine learning or statistical modeling technique, it is always helpful. So jumping to deep learning, you can use it for image recognition or for self-driving cars. So there are different, and it is also used in time series forecasting. So like neural network, which works on feeding data from one neuron to another, and it keeps updating its weights accordingly and according to the error. So that's how neural network work. And further, the class of neural network is CNN, which is conventional neural network. It uses fixed input and fixed output, and it is used a lot in image data sets. And further, RNN, which is recursive neural network, which takes data from itself and it's from previous layer. So it was uh, it has two subclasses. One is LSTM and another is GRU. So LSTM, I believe, got is available from year 1997 as compared to GRU, which is available from year 2014. Both are used for sequential data sets. So the very good example could be LSTM was developed for more for uh, speech recognition, but now these days it is used for time series modeling. And further is GAN. GAN is basically use generative and discriminative models. So it generate models, it generate data, and on it data it trains on it. So GAN use discriminative and generative models both together, and it is getting very popular these days, GAN. And deep learning, it has various application. It is applied in speech recognition, it is applied in uh, satellites, it is applied in self-driving cars. So pretty much deep learning is gaining its attraction after when the systems are much more computationally strong, and it is coming with a lot of new use cases. So what do you mean by data scientists before we jump to their salary trends? What do you mean by data scientist or machine learning engineer or data engineer or data architect? So data scientists and machine learning engineers are the two important professionals in AI field who plays a vital role in model development, which is machine learning models, and their role in AI development is not that much different, but from technical skills perspective there is a difference. Though the core difference between data scientist and machine learning engineer is former one more knowledgeable in programming skills used around data, while data scientist like mathematician who can program using his data analysis skills. However, their roles are complementary to each other and supportive. An ML engineer will typically be more studious in computer science, while a data scientist is more involved in statistics or mathematics. But let make you clear one thing. A ML engineer is programmer who specializes in data, while a data scientist play a huge amount of data about also a programmer. Next is what is the difference between data architects and data engineers? Data architects conceptualize and visualize data frameworks, whereas data engineers build and maintain them. Data architects guide the data science team, while data engineers provide the supporting framework for enterprise data activities. Data architects often use their hand-on skills in wide variety of data management fields like data modeling, data warehousing, data management, and ETL tools. And the emergence of data engineers has enabled the architect to move away from building the framework to visualizing it. And data architect provide knowledge and guidance in handling different data sources from varied databases. And the data engineers take data architect visions to build and maintain the data architecture for the enterprise. So data architect conceptualize and visualize data framework, whereas data engineer build and maintain them. Data architects guide the data science team, while data science engineers provide the supporting framework for enterprise data activities. So, although both data architects and data engineers are expert about database management technologies, they use their knowledge very differently in their respective roles. And if you see here, data scientists, that's the average salary in US, and this is the below one is the average salary what they are getting in India. And the next is data analyst. So let's go on what is the difference between data scientist and data analyst. So data scientist is someone who can predict the future based on past patterns, whereas data analyst is someone who merely curates meaningful insights from the data. A data scientist job role always involves estimating the unknown, while on the data analyst job role involves looking at the known from the new perspectives. A data scientist is expected to generate their own questions, while a data analyst finds answers to a given set of questions from data. Further, a data analyst addresses business problems, but a data scientist not just addresses business problem, but picks up those problems that will help the most possible value once solved. So data analysts are the one who do the day-to-day analysis stuff, but data science have the what ifs. The job role of data science involves strong business acumen and data visualization skills to convert the insight into business stories, whereas data analyst is not expected to possess both business acumen and advanced data visualization skills. A data analyst will solve the question given by the business, while data scientists will formulate questions whose solutions are likely to benefit the business. And lastly, in many scenarios, data analysts are not expected have hands-on machine learning experience or build statistical model. But the core responsibility of data scientists is to build statistical models and be well versed with the machine learning. So here you can see the salary of data analyst in US and in INR. And next come is data engineer, where you can see now a lot of jobs in data engineering, they require a combination of data engineering, 30% data science, 80% or 70% data engineering. So yeah, it is marketing dynamics are changing. So average salary for in US for data engineer is $100,000, and in INR is 15 lakh. And the data architects are earning 145,000 US dollar, and their average salary is 20 lakh INR in India. And with ML engineer salary, it is 100,000, and average salary in India is 10 lakh. So these are the salary trends for different positions which are between data science. I hope this session will have given you an idea how to get into data science, how you should prepare yourself, and what kind of challenges are there, and what kind of perspectives are there after coming into data science. So if you have any questions, I am happy to answer.